Welcome back to Prime Wealth. Today, we're diving into a topic that's super important, especially if you're feeling the weight of debt.
Right, and that's building an emergency fund while you're still managing that debt. It might sound tricky, but it's absolutely doable.
Exactly. Many people think they can't set aside money for emergencies until they're completely debt-free, but that's not always the best approach.
Absolutely, Jordan. It's like trying to run a marathon without even having the right shoes. You need that safety net.
We'll talk about why having an emergency fund is essential, even when you're in debt. Plus, we'll share some practical steps you can take to start building that fund without feeling overwhelmed.
And let's not forget about how to prioritize your finances. It's all about balance, right?
Yes, we'll explore ways to manage your debt while also making room for savings. This way, you can feel secure about your finances no matter what life throws your way.
So whether you're just starting out or you've been at this for a while, there are strategies that can help you gain that financial peace of mind.
Let's jump right into it. What do you say, Alex?
Sounds good to me. Let's dig into why having an emergency fund is crucial, even when you're facing debt.
So, Alex, let's dive into why building an emergency fund while managing debt is especially crucial for folks over 40 right now.
Absolutely, Jordan. I think one of the biggest factors is simply the timeline. Many people in their 40s and 50s are balancing a lot, raising kids, planning for college, and also thinking about retirement. If something unexpected happens, like a job loss or a medical emergency, not having an emergency fund can really throw a wrench in those plans.
Exactly. And with inflation being what it is, the cost of living has risen significantly. Those day-to-day expenses are eating away at budgets, making it hard to save anything extra. I mean, groceries, gas, everything feels like it's just getting more expensive.
Right, and that's why having a financial cushion becomes even more important. If you're already managing debt, it can feel overwhelming to think about saving. But the reality is, without that safety net, you could end up relying on credit cards or loans, which just adds to your financial stress.
And that can spiral quickly, can't it? I've heard stories from friends who've been in that situation. They think, I'll just put this on my credit card, but then it's another bill to pay, and suddenly they're juggling multiple debts.
Exactly. I once worked with a client, let's call her Sarah. She was in her late 40s, managing a mortgage, credit card debt, and student loans for her daughter. She felt trapped because every month was just about making minimum payments. When her car broke down, she didn't have any savings to cover the repair costs. She ended up taking out another loan, which just made her situation worse.
That's such a relatable scenario. It's like she was in a cycle where every setback pushed her deeper into debt.
Yes, and it's not uncommon. The emotional toll that comes with financial insecurity can be heavy, especially as we get older and realize that time is not on our side when it comes to retirement savings. It's not just about the numbers. It's about peace of mind.
That emotional aspect is huge. People start to worry about their future, their ability to retire comfortably, or even just to handle life surprises without financial stress.
Exactly. And let's talk about the statistics for a moment. A recent survey showed that nearly 40% of Americans don't have enough savings to cover a $400 emergency. That's alarming, especially for those of us who are supposed to be thinking about retirement.
Wow, that's quite a wake-up call. It really shows how many are living paycheck to paycheck, even when they're in their 40s and 50s.
Right. And I think another thing to consider is the lifestyle changes we often face at this stage. Maybe you're downsizing, or perhaps you're caring for aging parents. Those situations can come with unexpected costs. And if you're already in debt, it can feel like a double whammy.
For sure. It's like life just keeps throwing curveballs. And many people might think, I'll get to the emergency fund once I pay off my debt. But that can lead to waiting indefinitely.
Yes, and that's where the balance comes in. It's not about choosing one over the other. It's about figuring out how to do both simultaneously. You can make progress on your debt while still setting aside a little something for emergencies.
I love that approach. It's more empowering than just feeling stuck.
Exactly, and let's not forget about the potential health issues that can arise as we age. Medical emergencies can be expensive, and having that emergency fund can help cover those costs without derailing your financial plans.
Right. That's such an important point. People often underestimate how quickly medical bills can pile up.
And it's not just about immediate costs. It's about long-term financial health. If you have a solid emergency fund, you're less likely to make panic-driven financial decisions that could have lasting impacts.
It's like having a safety net. You feel more secure, and that can lead to better decision-making overall.
Yes, and when we feel secure, we are more likely to take calculated risks, whether that's investing in a business or taking a step toward retirement.
So it really affects all areas of life, doesn't it? Financial security contributes to emotional well-being, which can impact your relationships and even your health.
Absolutely. And this is especially crucial for those over 40, as they may be thinking about how they want to spend their retirement years. You want to have options, not just financial obligations.
It's about freedom, right? The freedom to choose how you want to live your life, rather than being tied down by debt or unexpected expenses.
Exactly, Jordan. And it's also about setting an example for the next generation. If your kids see you managing your finances wisely, they're more likely to adopt those habits themselves.
That's a great point. It's like passing down financial wisdom.
Yes, and it's never too late to start building that foundation, even if you feel behind.
So it sounds like building an emergency fund while managing debt isn't just about the money. It's about creating a more secure future in every aspect of life.
Exactly. And now that we've laid out why this is so important, let's talk about some practical strategies to make it happen.
So let's dive into some core strategies for building an emergency fund, even if you're juggling debt.
Absolutely. One of the first things I recommend is to set a specific goal for your emergency fund. A common target is 3 to 6 months worth of expenses.
Right, but that can feel overwhelming, especially if you're already stretched thin. How do you suggest people start?
Good point. I'd suggest starting with a smaller, more manageable goal. Maybe aim for just $500 to $1,000 to begin with. This initial buffer can help cover unexpected expenses, like a car repair or a medical bill, without relying on credit cards.
That makes a lot of sense. So once someone sets that initial goal, what's next?
Next, it's about finding ways to save that money. I advise setting up a separate savings account for your emergency fund. That way, it's not mixed with your everyday expenses, and you're less likely to dip into it for non-emergencies.
Great idea. And do you have any tips on how to actually save that money?
Sure. One effective strategy is the snowball method, which is often used in debt repayment but can work for saving too. You start by saving small amounts regularly, and as you find ways to cut expenses or increase income, you roll those savings into your emergency fund.
Like snowballing your savings. So what are some specific ways people can find extra cash in their budget?
Well, I often suggest reviewing your monthly expenses. Look for subscriptions you don't use, dining out less frequently, or even negotiating bills, like your cable or insurance. It can be surprising how much you can free up with just a little effort.
Definitely. And what about income? Any ideas for boosting that?
For sure. If you have skills or hobbies that could translate into side gigs, like freelance work, tutoring, or even selling handmade items online, those can be excellent ways to generate additional income.
That's really practical. So, once they've got a bit saved up, how can they keep that momentum going?
Setting up automatic transfers can help a lot. You can automate a specific amount to transfer from your checking to your savings account every month. It's like paying yourself first, before you even see that money in your spending account.
I love that concept. It takes the pressure off because you're not constantly thinking about it. But what if someone feels they can't save anything while still paying off debt?
I understand that concern. Even if you can only save a small amount, like $20 a week, it's about building that habit. The key is consistency, not the amount. Over time, those small contributions add up.
Right. So it's more about the discipline than the number itself. What about using windfalls? Are they useful for emergency funds?
Absolutely. Tax refunds, bonuses, or any unexpected cash flow can be great opportunities to boost your emergency fund. Just remember to prioritize putting some of that money aside before spending it.
That's a smart strategy. And for those who feel like they're always in a cycle of debt, how can they shift their mindset?
It's crucial to view saving as an investment in yourself, not just an obstacle. Every dollar saved is a step towards financial freedom. Celebrate the small wins, like reaching each savings milestone, to reinforce that positive behavior.
That's such a good point. So once someone has their emergency fund established, how do they maintain it?
Keep an eye on that fund. As your expenses change, maybe you've taken on a new mortgage or had a baby, you'll want to adjust your emergency fund target accordingly. Regularly reviewing it helps ensure it's still adequate.
Makes sense. But there must be some common pitfalls people should avoid, right?
For sure. One major pitfall is using the emergency fund for non-emergencies. It can be tempting to dip into those savings for things that pop up, but it's important to stick to the original purpose.
So, like, a vacation or a new gadget wouldn't qualify as an emergency, right?
Exactly. Keeping those boundaries clear is key. Another pitfall is failing to replenish the fund after using it. If you do have to use it for something unexpected, make a plan to rebuild it as soon as possible.
That's a great reminder. And I imagine there are some people who might just give up if they hit a snag.
That's a risk, yes. It's important to build resilience. If you experience setbacks, like a job loss or unexpected expenses, don't be too hard on yourself. Focus on getting back on track, even if it means starting from scratch.
Yeah, it's all about persistence, isn't it?
Exactly. And remember, every little bit counts. Just keep working towards that goal, and you'll get there eventually.
So those are some immediate steps you can take. Now let's bring everything together as we discuss some common pitfalls to watch out for. So, Alex, as we dive deeper into building an emergency fund while managing debt, what are some common pitfalls you see people fall into?
Oh, absolutely. One of the biggest mistakes is thinking that you need to tackle your debt first before even considering an emergency fund. I get it, right? It feels logical to eliminate that debt burden. But without a safety net, any unexpected expense can throw you right back into financial chaos.
Right. I mean, if your car breaks down or you have a medical bill, it could mean resorting to more debt just to cover it.
Exactly. And then there's the misconception about how much you should actually save. People often aim for a huge amount right away, like 3 to 6 months of expenses, which can feel overwhelming, especially if they're already stretched thin.
Yeah, that can be discouraging. So what's a more manageable approach?
A good starting point is to aim for just a small buffer, like $500 to $1,000. It helps to take that first step without feeling paralyzed by the size of the goal.
That makes sense. It's like building a muscle, right? You start with lighter weights before moving on to heavier ones.
Exactly. And another common pitfall is not separating emergency savings from other funds. People might think, I'll just put my emergency money in the same account as my spending money, which can lead to, temptation, you know?
Oh, totally. It's so easy to dip into that fund for non-emergencies, like a spontaneous dinner out.
Exactly. And that can erode the trust you have in your own financial system. It's crucial to have that emergency fund in a separate account, where it's not easily accessible for day-to-day spending.
What about the emotional side of things? I feel like there's a mental barrier for some folks when it comes to saving while in debt.
Oh, for sure. There's often a lot of guilt and shame tied to debt. People think they don't deserve to save until they're debt-free, but that mindset can be really damaging.
That's a great point. It's about being proactive rather than reactive, right?
Yes. Recognizing that saving even a little can boost your confidence and create a sense of security. It's empowering to know you have something set aside for those unexpected moments.
And how do people know when they're falling into these pitfalls? Are there any signs they should be aware of?
Definitely. One major sign is if you find yourself constantly stressed about money. If you're feeling overwhelmed by both debt and the thought of saving, that's a red flag. It might mean you need to reassess how you're approaching both issues.
So, if that pressure is building up, what should someone do?
Well, it's about taking a step back and looking at your financial picture honestly. Are you prioritizing your debt so much that you're neglecting your emergency fund? Or maybe you're saving so aggressively that you're not addressing your debt effectively? Finding a balance is key.
I can see how it can be a delicate balance. Have you seen any real-life examples of people navigating this?
Oh, absolutely. I had a client, let's call her Sarah. She was juggling a decent amount of credit card debt, but decided to put everything into paying that off while ignoring her savings. When her car broke down, she ended up using her credit card again. which only made her situation worse.
That sounds frustrating. So what happened next?
After a bit of guidance, we shifted her strategy. She started saving a small amount each month while also making consistent payments on her debt. It wasn't easy, but she felt less anxious knowing she had a small cushion.
That's a great example. It really highlights how important it is to have that balance.
Yes, and another common mistake is underestimating expenses. A lot of people forget to factor in irregular costs, like annual subscriptions or car maintenance.
Right, those little things can really add up over time.
Exactly. It's important to keep a running list of those irregular expenses and build them into your budget. That way, you're more prepared for those costs when they arise.
So it sounds like creating a comprehensive budget is essential here.
Absolutely. A budget gives you a clearer picture of where your money is going and helps you allocate funds effectively between debt repayment and savings.
It's like a roadmap, right? Without it, you could easily get lost.
Exactly. And you also want to watch for the danger signs of burnout. If you feel like you're sacrificing too much for your debt and not enjoying life, that's a signal that you may need to adjust your approach.
Yeah, it's important to find joy in the process too.
Right, and speaking of joy, some people can get so focused on their goals that they miss out on their everyday experiences. It's about making progress while still living your life.
So it's a balance of being realistic and aspirational.
Yes. And if you notice you're constantly feeling defeated or losing motivation, it might be time to celebrate small wins, like reaching a savings milestone, even if it's just a small one.
That's a great way to keep up the momentum. So how do we move forward from here?
Well, the key is to identify your personal financial situation and see where you can make small adjustments. Start by setting that initial emergency fund goal, separate your accounts, and create that comprehensive budget.
And don't forget to keep an eye on those danger signs, right?
Exactly. So those are some immediate steps you can take. Now let's bring everything together.
So, Alex, now that we've talked about the importance of an emergency fund, especially when you're juggling debt, what are some immediate steps someone can take to start building that fund?
Absolutely, Jordan. I think the first step is really about mindset. It's essential to shift your thinking from I can't afford this to how can I make this work? Just that little shift can make a big difference.
Yeah, that's so true. And I imagine it can feel overwhelming, right? Especially when you're already dealing with debt.
Exactly. So a practical approach is to start small. Even if it's just $10 or $20 a week, that can add up over time. Setting a realistic goal, like saving a small percentage of your income, can help too.
Right. And it's about finding what works for you. What tools or apps do you recommend for tracking these savings?
There are some great options out there. For instance, apps like Digit or Capital can automatically save small amounts for you based on your spending habits. You barely even notice it happening, but it adds up.
Oh, I love that. It's like you're saving without even thinking about it. And what about budgeting? How can that tie into building an emergency fund?
Budgeting is key. I suggest using the 50/30/20ths rule as a starting point. That's 50% of your income for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings and debt repayment. You can adjust this based on your situation, but it gives you a solid framework.
That sounds manageable. So let's say someone is already on a tight budget. Any tips on how to find extra money to put towards savings?
Great question. Start by reviewing your monthly expenses. Look for non-essential items you can cut back on, like dining out or subscription services. Even a few dollars saved here and there can go into your emergency fund.
Totally. And I think it's also about being creative, right? Maybe hosting a potluck instead of going out, or finding free local events instead of spending on entertainment.
Exactly. It's all about making small lifestyle adjustments. And if you're comfortable, consider finding ways to increase your income, like side gigs or freelance work. Every little bit can help.
Oh, I love that idea. And speaking of side hustles, do you have any recommendations for someone looking to pick one up?
There are plenty of options. Depending on your skills, you could look into freelance writing, graphic design, or even tutoring. Websites like Upwork or Fiverr can connect you with clients.
And those platforms make it so accessible. Now let's shift gears a bit. What about the habit of saving? How can someone build that into their routine?
Habit formation can be tricky, but one effective method is to automate your savings. Set up a direct deposit from your paycheck into a separate savings account. It makes saving feel seamless and less daunting.
That's a great tip. So the money goes into savings before you even see it in your checking account.
Exactly. And you can also set reminders for yourself to check in on your savings goals regularly. Just keeping it top of mind can help reinforce those habits.
What about using a high-yield savings account for the emergency fund? Is that a good option?
Definitely. A high-yield savings account can earn you more interest than a traditional savings account. Just make sure you choose one with no fees and easy access to your funds.
That sounds smart, and it keeps your money working for you while still being accessible in case of an emergency.
Right, and it's also crucial to have that separate account. It psychologically helps to distinguish between your regular spending and your savings.
Yeah, it's like creating a boundary. So let's say someone is still struggling to save even a small amount. What can they do to help motivate themselves?
Setting specific, attainable goals can be a great motivator. For example, aim to save $500 over 3 months. When you hit that goal, reward yourself with something small, like a nice coffee or a movie night.
Oh, I like that. It feels good to celebrate those wins, no matter how small.
Exactly. And don't forget about the power of community. Share your goals with friends or family. Having an accountability partner can keep you motivated and on track.
That's a fantastic idea. Sometimes just talking about your goals can make them feel more real. What about books or resources that could help someone in this situation?
There are some great reads out there. The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey is a solid choice for learning about budgeting and saving. You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero offers a more mindset-focused approach to money.
I love those recommendations. It's so important to not just focus on the numbers, but also the mindset behind them.
Absolutely. And consider joining online communities or forums focused on personal finance. Engaging with others who share similar goals can really inspire and motivate you.
That's a great idea. So, to recap, we've talked about starting small, automating savings, and engaging with communities. What's one last piece of advice you'd give to someone looking to build their emergency fund while managing debt?
I'd say, be patient with yourself. It's a journey, not a sprint. Celebrate your progress no matter how small, and remember that every little bit counts.
Such a good reminder. So those are some immediate steps you can take. Now let's bring everything together as we head into the outro. So as we wrap up, let's highlight a few key takeaways from today's discussion on building an emergency fund while managing debt.
Absolutely, Jordan. First off, starting small with your emergency fund is key. Even if it's just $10 or $20 a week, it adds up over time.
Right. And remember, it's all about consistency. The habit of saving is what really counts, not necessarily the amount you save right away.
Exactly. And don't forget to prioritize your debts wisely. Focus on high-interest debts first, while still setting aside a little for that emergency cushion.
That's such a good point. Also, utilizing tools or apps to track your savings can really help keep you motivated and on target.
And lastly, make sure to review and adjust your plan regularly. Life changes, and so should your saving strategy.
Yeah, having that flexibility is so important. Building an emergency fund while in debt can feel daunting, but it's totally achievable.
Definitely. It's about taking those small, manageable steps. And remember, each step you take builds not just your fund, but your confidence too.
Well said, Alex. For everyone out there, if you found value in this episode, we'd love for you to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to share this episode with someone who's 40 plus and could use this advice.
Next time, we'll dive into a topic that's really important: debt and mental health. We'll explore coping strategies to help you manage the stress that comes with financial challenges.
It's going to be a powerful conversation, so you won't want to miss it.
Thanks for joining us today, and remember, every step you take towards financial security is a step towards freedom.
Take care, everyone.